do you get hotter because your skin's black? And as soon as I say I'm born in Nigeria, suddenly I'm a freshie. But it was just like being teased by other black people who were born here. I'm like, somebody messed you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all well. I'm doing another chit chat, get ready with me. But today I'm gonna be talking about my freshie stories, my FOB stories, coming from Nigeria and growing up in the UK and what it was like. If you don't know what FOB stands for, it means fresh off the boat. It's like a horrible term that used to call us people that weren't born in the UK. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Definitely join the conversation with me in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe. Enjoy the rest of the video. When I came to the UK, I was 8 years old. I came August of 2000. So you can do the maths, because I don't know what everyone's fascination is about my age, because I never hidden my age, but you can do the maths. I'm 29 years old. You ain't gotta do maths, I told you. But yeah, I came August 2000, literally like summertime, like the last few weeks of the summer holidays, and I was just about to start school. And when I tell you, like, it was really a culture shock coming to the UK. I came as a little girl, being used to Lagos and never seen anything else but Lagos. And coming from Nigeria, a country that is full of obviously the majority black people, and people look like me, people talk like me. Coming from a place that I'm very much used to a place where there's a lot of white people. Like when I moved to Stevenage, there wasn't really a lot of black people. Right now it's doing a lot better. There's definitely a lot more black people than when I moved to Stevenage in 2000. It was quite daunting, I can't lie, for me, but it was also very exciting. The first thing I noticed that stood out to me were like the buildings and the houses, and like without sounding like a freshie I really was fascinated by like the houses, because I'd never seen like brick houses with chimneys before. And I know to you guys that were born in the UK, that might be like, girl, like, but really and truly, like in Nigeria, okay, this color's not working. Yeah, in Nigeria, obviously our houses are built different because the climate is different. Like it's a hot country, so obviously we don't need chimneys. And yeah, we do build our houses with bricks, don't get me wrong, but like just the template of the houses are different, and the way they're built, like the structure of the houses are different. So that really fascinated me. I was literally looking out the window on the drive from the airport, and I was just like, I was just glued to the window. I was just like, oh my God. Wow. Honestly, like I know it sounds so ridiculous, but I really was like, oh my God, wow, because I'd never seen anything like it. I was super excited. So when I landed, I was so excited. I was playing, I was enjoying my life, living my best freaking abroad's life, okay? And then September rolled along very quickly. This eye is really not blended. Hold on, let me just give more attention to this eye. Okay, so yeah, so then September rolls along and it's time for school, and I would have been in year 4. So when I moved, I was 8 years old, and like I moved when it was just in time for school. I went to St. Nicholas Primary School, Church of England Primary School in Stevenage. Holla at me if you know where that is. If you don't, then yeah. Or if you're watching this and you actually went to St. Nick's, then hey girl. But yeah, probably no one from St. Nick's watches this, but yeah, so I went to St. Nicholas School in Stevenage. It was just, I actually really loved primary school. It was amazing. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Obviously, I was the only black girl in my class, only black person period in my class. And at that time, like I said, there weren't a lot of black people in Stevenage. So I think out of the whole school, it was probably like, including my family, it was probably like maybe 3 or 4 black families. And obviously I think they were all Nigerian actually, and we all obviously knew each other, and we all like welcome each other and like, you know, support each other and stuff like that. So I started school and I freaking loved it, even though I was the only black girl. Of course, obviously I knew I was different, and I knew that the kids were different to me, but I don't think that really affected like how I made friends and things like that. I really made friends really quickly, maybe because I was so different, and maybe because they were just so fascinated with me, but I made friends pretty quickly. I had a bestie, I had a couple besties. I was everyone's bestie. I had a bestie called Lauren. I had another bestie called Nicole, but she was more my bestie like in year 6. But my first bestie in year 4 was Lauren. And I actually remember my first day at school. I remember really well. So I came into year 4 and everyone introduced me, and they couldn't say my name obviously, and then eventually they learned how to say my name. I was super quiet because obviously I had an accent. I didn't want to like, I don't know, I was just super shy, super quiet. And then there was this girl called Abby. I don't know if she watches this, but if she does, then was it Abby or Danielle? I can't remember. Somebody, one of those two, they like tapped me and they were not, I think I've told this story before, I can't remember, but they tapped me and they were like, do you want a cheese string for lunch or something like that? She just gave me a cheese string. I don't know if they still do cheese strings, but she gave me a cheese string, which is really nice of her. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then I bit into the cheese string. Like, you know, like cheese strings, you're supposed to like pull it off and like eat it slowly. I literally bit into the whole cheese string because obviously I didn't know any better. This is the day I realized that I don't like cheese. So as soon as I bit into the cheese string, I knew for a fact like, this is not, this doesn't agree with my taste buds. Yeah, I think I was actually like physically sick. I actually vomited. Yeah, the teachers had to come and like clean it up and stuff, but I remember that being like super embarrassing. But anywho, yeah, they introduced me. They were like, everyone, we have somebody new starting with us from Nigeria. Her name is Ropo. And I remember just being super, super shy. But like I said, I made friends really quickly. And like I said, primary school was a blast. Only like hiccup I remember having in primary school was there was one time there was a guy called, I don't know if he watches this, but there was a guy called and he was a bit racist to me. But to be fair to him, not to give him an excuse, like I don't really think he meant it in a racist way. You know when kids are just like being kids and they're just mean. Obviously being that I'm black, whatever, I can't even remember what he said to me. Whatever he said to me was racial because I remember being really upset and crying. Parents had to be involved because it really did hurt my feelings. The teachers had to be involved, parents had to be involved. But he said something quite mean and I remember like feeling like, oh crap, I'm actually black. Like that's when I really felt like, oh crap, like I'm actually different. But yeah, I don't think he really meant it in a racist way. You know how like, I don't know, I think it was just a case of ignorance. At the same time, this is the first time we've seen, you know, a black person and he's a child. So I'll let that one slide. But yeah, I think that was the first time I experienced like racism. And it really did like make me upset and stuff. Yeah, so that happened. I remember obviously like getting accustomed to, oh, this is actually pretty nice. Getting accustomed to like British culture, getting accustomed to like British games in school, games at lunchtime or at break time. I'm trying to remember some of the games we used to play. Do you remember that game that was like, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? But I can't remember what it's called. And it's like dinner time and then you run up and down, but I can't remember what it's called. So yeah, we used to play that. Obviously we used to play like things like it. And yeah, I just really enjoyed my time in primary school. But one thing I do remember really well, yeah, one thing I remember really well is that like, it took a while for me to lose my accent, first of all. And in that time of me gradually losing my accent, the kids could not understand me. And I don't blame them because like I said, this is the first time they've experienced not only a black person, but a black person from Nigeria. So like, I obviously had a thick Nigerian accent because that's where I lived, that's where I grew up, it's all I knew. So like some words and some phrases were not the same in the UK and I had to like gradually learn this. So for example, I remember like, say for example, I'm trying to say something like, say like someone stepped on me on like the playground or on the field or something, right? And I'm trying to tell the teacher that like he stepped on me. I'll be like, oh, Ben matched me, he matched me. And obviously in Nigeria, like when you say someone matches you, like it means like to step on you, like to, I don't even know why they use that word, but yeah, so like I was trying to like say like, oh, so-and-so matched me, and I'll be like complaining to the teacher, but they won't understand what I'm saying. And obviously the Ben himself won't even know what he did because he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So yeah, and then like even things like when I'm trying to say like, oh, if someone farted, and I'm trying to say like, oh, someone farted, like if you smell something and you're like, someone farted. So I'll just be like, who messed? I'm like, somebody messed, yo. But obviously they don't understand what messed means. And I'm just like, somebody messed. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, somebody messed. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, you mean farted? And I'll be like, yes, they messed, whatever, farted. So yeah, the language, not language barrier, but just like the culture barrier was definitely there. So it got to the point where my head teacher, who I absolutely love, yeah, when I first moved to that school, we had a head teacher called Mrs. Edwards. But she ended up leaving when I was like in year 5 and I was so upset because I actually really loved her. She was so lovely. She helped me so much. Because the kids couldn't understand me, it got to the point where it got to the head teacher. Not in the bad way, but I think obviously they must have just informed her that like, oh, this new girl, you know, we're having trouble understanding what she's saying. And then she came to help. So what she would do, she'd take me out of lesson. Yeah, she'll take me out of my class and then she'll give me like speech lessons. Thinking about about this, it's funny to say, but like honestly I really do appreciate her for that, because she didn't have to do that. And you know, she was really, it wasn't like in a condescending, annoying way. She was really lovely. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel like, you know, like she's just being horrible or anything like that. She was doing it in a loving way. So she'll sit me down in the dining room and she would just be like, for example, like obviously my accent, there's some words that like come out differently. For example, the word thief. Like if I'm trying to say thief, at the time I would be like teeth instead of saying thief. And then she'll just teach me like my THs and like teach me like to say fart instead of mess. Teach me to say he stepped on me instead of he matched me. And even things like you know, when something happens, this is quite an African thing, I don't know if other African cultures do this, but when something happens to someone, say someone falls over, you're just like, oh sorry, you say sorry because you're just like, it's just our way of like showing that we care or showing like empathy. So we just be like, oh sorry, I fell down or something like that, right? But obviously when like someone falls over in the playground or something, I'm like, oh sorry, and they're like, it's not your fault, Ropo, you didn't do anything, you don't have to apologise. And I'm just like, well, you fell down. Teaching me to say like not to apologise for things that I didn't do. I remember that just being really weird to me because I'm so used to saying sorry when like something bad happens to somebody. So I had to like unlearn that. But yeah, honestly I had such a good time at school. It was really good. And I think by year 5 my accent was gone. Like I know that for a fact. Like by year 5 I think I adapted quite quickly, to be fair. And I didn't like consciously lose my accent, it just naturally happened. I think it's easier as a child because as a child, you're prone to change and you're likely to pick things up a lot easier than an adult. Say I came to the UK when I was like 16, then it would have been a lot harder for me to like lose my accent and things like that, or just lose my mannerisms or the things that I was used to. But because I was a kid, I picked things up really, really quickly. So yeah, the accent was definitely gone by like year 5. Probably even mid year 4. One thing that I also noticed as well is that like the curriculum was so different. When I came, they were learning how to do like long division, and this was it. No. I learned how to do long division in Nigeria, and when I came, that wasn't what they were doing. They were just, I can't remember what they were doing, but all I remember was like, right, this is actually piss easy. Like this is so easy. I think they started doing long division in like year 6, but obviously I had already picked that up in Nigeria earlier than that, probably like primary 3 or something, because I think in Nigeria we're just a lot more, not disciplined, but like they're a lot more strict and we learn things a little bit quicker. But here obviously it's just based on like what key stages you're at and like your development and things like that. So I would definitely say like being in the UK, I don't want to say it made me dumb, but I wasn't as like, in Nigeria I was so like school, like work, whereas school here was different in the sense that like it wasn't always, ooh, sorry, I literally just had a mishap just then, but hopefully we're good. But yeah, like I was saying, school here was different in the sense that it wasn't always work all the time. So like, for example, things like having story time and sitting in a circle and reading books. Not to say we didn't read like story books in Nigeria, but it wasn't a thing to like sit down and be like, have biscuits and like just chill, you know, and just like read stories. So like, I enjoyed school because I felt like it wasn't hard to me, and eventually I got used to the fact that it wasn't hard and I got used to the system. So I got used to not working as hard at school because here it's just more chill. It's just more chill here. Obviously they had issues pronouncing my name. Do you know what's so funny, right? More people like in my adult life call me Ropo, which is so freaking annoying, than they did in primary school, and you would think it would be the other way around. Like they actually pronounced my name Ropo, how it's supposed to be pronounced in primary school, and I don't actually remember correcting them that much. But more people pronounce my name Ropo, which is the correct way. Obviously it's Ropo, but it's not Ropo. I really freaking enjoyed primary school. It was so freaking fun. I loved the discos. I loved World Book Day. I loved just everything, just like playing, being so carefree. Just everything about like being a kid at that time was just so fun. I don't even know what like being a kid these times must be like, but it was actually like super fun then. So I think I lost the Freshie thing quite quickly. I think I lost it, I would say like by 2001, I definitely was pretty cool. Like I lost it so quick. Obviously you can still hear the twang in my voice, but it wasn't obvious. Like for example, when I went to secondary school, it was only till like late secondary school to like basically going into sixth form that people started to I would tell people, oh yeah, I'm from Nigeria or whatever, and people were like, really? Like, I was born there, and be like, oh, I swear down, because they never actually like would know. It's not really obvious to them. Same as even like till now, like if I tell people I was born in Nigeria, they're like, oh, I had no idea. The only thing I didn't like the difference between primary school and secondary school, obviously secondary school kids are just like horrible. Like kids are horrible in primary school, but bloody hell, kids are even worse in secondary school. Because like when I would tell people I was born in Nigeria, there was this whole like, I don't know this, there was this whole era of Freshie and FOB era. And if you were like, if you actually were born in Nigeria or born wherever you came from, not in the UK, and you came to the UK, there was this like thing where like kids will like mock you and bully you just based on the fact that you're not born here. And it's so pathetic now I think about it, because honestly, it used to get to me a lot. So like they'll like, and the thing is, they will never ever ever know until I tell them, oh yeah, I was born in Nigeria. And as soon as I say I'm born in Nigeria, suddenly I'm a Freshie. Like literally, suddenly I'm a Freshie. And that used to really like hurt my feelings. And the FOB thing, if you don't know what FOB is, it basically means fresh off the boat. And it's like, none of us came here in boats, like let's be honest, but it's just so ignorant and so stupid. Like I can laugh about it now, but at the time it wasn't funny to me, because I used to take it personal, because they'll make like really stupid jokes about like, oh yeah, about Nigeria. Sorry, I just remember something. When I was in primary school, I remember a time we were sitting like reading, like it was like reading time or whatever, in a circle, and then I don't know why, I just remember this, I remember it so well, I don't know why, but my teacher focused the whole lesson on me. So she was just like, oh, so I can't remember, maybe we were reading a book to do with Africa or something, I don't know, but she just focused the whole lesson on me. So she was like to me, so we have Ropo here from Nigeria. She'd be like, so Ropo, in Nigeria, did you live in huts? And I'm just like, no, I lived in a house. And then she'd be like, right, so did your house have running water? And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, just stupid questions like that. And then like the kids would be like, oh Ropo, did you live with next to elephants, or did you see a tiger when you were growing? I'm like, I'd never seen a tiger in my life, I've never seen an elephant in my life. It's not like that. But obviously this is the year 2000, they're very ignorant, and you don't really see like, they're not educated, let's just say that. They weren't educated. Even the teacher was really stupid for even putting me in that hotspot. But yeah, they're not educated. It's not an excuse, but like, just the stupid questions, like it was just so dumb. I don't know if like you've ever been in that situation, if you were FOB or Freshie or whatnot, and they'll ask you stupid questions like that. You know, you have to educate someone. But like, yeah, so if the stupid questions even continued to secondary school. In secondary school, although I wasn't like the only black person in like secondary school, there was quite a few of us, but it wasn't, we definitely were a minority. Like there was like, I think maybe 5 or 6 of us in our year when I was in secondary school. Most of us were Nigerian or Ghanaian. So, and then there was like a few Zimbabweans, and yeah. So in secondary school, I remember this so well. There was one time I was playing on the field with my friends, just chilling, lunchtime, you know. This girl, okay, like we were just chilling or whatever, and it was really hot, it was like summertime. This girl was like to me, Ropo? And I was like, yeah. She goes, do you get hotter because your skin's black? And I was just like, Megan, no babe. And she was like, oh, I just thought that, you know, because obviously black attracts heat, that you might be really hot, like a lot hotter than us right now. And I'm like, so how am I supposed to quantify that? How am I supposed to know if I'm hotter than you right now? Even like, I don't even know why I'm even thinking about it. It was such a stupid question. And then she was like, oh no, you know. And it's like stuff like that. You don't, this is where like the whole like racism thing gets into it. Because obviously white people in their head, they're not being racist. And to be honest, some of them are not being racist. There's such a thin line between ignorance and racism. But I feel like deep down, they know it's stupid, but they just ask anyway. Like obviously in primary school, like when I'll do my hair, oh my god, hair was another thing in primary school, oh my god. So like obviously back then I'll have like braids or like my hair in cornrows. Obviously I didn't have weave or anything like that, but like there was this one stupid black girl from my primary school, yeah. There was one time, yeah, I think I had like braids, but I had a headband on. And then she said to me, she came up to me, she was like, my mummy said that whenever people are wearing headbands, it means they're wearing a wig. You're wearing a wig. No, I'm not. Like, and what's so funny is that her mum used to wear headband wigs all the time. Obviously they're a thing now. And it's like, how dare you, bitch? And she did it in front of everyone. I was just like, you stupid cow. But yeah, hair was definitely a thing, especially in primary school, even in secondary school. Because obviously I'll come with like braids one day, cornrows the next, puffs the next day or something. And they'll just be like, oh my God, Ropo, what, like, how did you do your hair like that? And obviously, like I said, there's a thin line between ignorance and just pure stupidity and racism. And they'll just be like, oh, did you grow your hair overnight? Like, how did your hair get so long? Like, say for example, the day before or like the weekend before, my hair is in its natural state, and then the Monday of I come with like long braids like this. They'll be like, oh my God, is that all your real hair? How did you get it like that? Or they'll be like, can I touch? You know how, you know, we've all been through this as black women, like, or black girls. Can I touch it? Oh, how'd you do it? And then I'm like, oh, how do you wash it? All these like questions. And it's all fine and dandy to ask these questions, but let's be honest, some of them were really stupid. It's like, sis, you could have just Googled this. But yeah, I just excused the behavior because back then we were children and we didn't know any better. But you didn't see me asking them like, how's your hair so silky? Or like, I don't know, I just find it so funny. To be fair, like when I first came here, I used to be really fascinated with their hair, but I never ever touched unless I had the permission to. So like, I was fascinated with like the different textures, because obviously our hair is really kinky and their hair is really soft and smooth. So I remember the first time that my friend asked me to braid her hair, because obviously I had braids, and she was like, oh, can you do mine? And I did it, and that was the first time I ever touched a white person's hair. And when I tell you, I was actually shooketh. Like, her hair was so soft, and I just couldn't believe, I literally couldn't believe how soft her hair was. I've never ever experienced or touched anything like it, and I was so fascinated. But you wouldn't see me being like, how do you get it like that? What do you do to, like, I didn't ask those questions because I felt like it was just not really necessary. But I don't know, I guess it's just different on the other foot, I guess, I don't know. So yeah, secondary school was a little bit more ruthless when it came to the Freshie jokes and the FOB jokes, and like, and it was so disheartening because it was from people, from black people that you would think that like obviously are from where you're from, they have the same culture you have, they grew up in a similar household that you did, but here they are in front of white people taking a piss out of you. I just didn't understand it. And obviously I felt like they were doing it, I don't know if other people can relate to this, but if you're from a small town where it's mostly white people, I felt like the black people did things to get, like, to be on the white people's side, and it really used to bother me. Like, there was this one guy in my secondary school, till this day, I don't like that guy, because like, I remember he was new in the secondary school, and I was trying to welcome him in, because obviously I knew he was Nigerian, because obviously his name. And I was trying to welcome him in, and I think there was a day we were playing table tennis, and this stupid guy, I can't remember what he did, but he just embarrassed me in front of white people, and I just remember thinking, are you mad? Are you mad? Like, he embarrassed me on purpose in front of these white people. I think he threw the ball at me or something, and I was like, here I am trying to help your dumbass, like, fit in and shit, and then you're taking the piss out of me in front of all these white people. Don't worry. My fault. Literally, that's how I felt. I love this setting spray, by the way. This is by Shana Luxe. It's a makeup mist, and it's literally like on its last legs. I love it so much because it makes my skin really dewy. Hopefully it comes out nicely. I just quickly done some lip liner and eyeliner off camera. So yeah, and I'm just gonna put my lipstick on and talk to you guys at the same time. I don't know if this happens to a lot of other people who weren't born here, but I feel like you go through a phase where you're, I wouldn't say you wanna be, I think you go through a phase where you wish you were born here. Let's just say that, yeah. Because obviously the bullying and like people like teasing you because of your, I don't know, your accent or your mannerisms. I remember there was a time where I fully lied. Hey, Jesus, I'm not even a liar because I can't lie to save my life. Like, I'm actually a really bad liar, so I don't even lie. But I remember this one time in sixth form, actually, the way I lied out of my teeth, yeah. Like, I didn't even know why I did it. So basically, I think it was like, there was some kind of after school club or whatever, right? And then I stayed, and then my friend's mum like came to pick us up and she dropped me home. So my friend's mum was just asking me questions in the car, like, oh, what's your name? Where you from? You know, just normal questions, right? Tell me why I said I'm born in Hackney and I grew up in Stamford Hill, and I was just making up lies, like just lies. So the reason I said that is because I used to go to my cousin's house who lived in Stamford Hill all the time, like Christmas, summer, like all the holidays and stuff like that. I was used to going to their house, and obviously Stevenage is different to London. So like when I'll go to London, I felt like I was a little bit more, I could be a little bit more like myself because there were a lot more black people in London. So when I go to my cousin's house in Hackney, I'll learn new slang, I'll come back with like nice trainers and stuff like that. So I just wanted to seem cool in front of her and her mum. I don't know why. I do not know why. I don't know why. But I lied about like being born in Hackney and how I grew up in Stamford Hill, just all sorts of lies. I think that was the one time it just happened. I literally just said it and I don't even know like why or like I said it, but I think I just wanted to be from here so bad. I didn't want her to know that I was born in Nigeria, so I just made up lies, and there was no need. There was no need whatsoever. So yeah, I think there's a stage where you go through where you're just like, it's not like you don't want to be it's not like you don't want to be where you're from. Of course I was proud Nigerian. There was no point in my life I ever wanted to be white. No freaking way. Anyone that knows me knows that like I freaking stand Nigeria. But it was just like being teased by other black people who were born here. I think I just wanted to fit in the sense that I wanted to not have my little like say words differently. Even though I lost my accent, there's some words that till this day I can't say properly because I'm from Nigeria. So like my accent is different. Yeah, I think that's why in that moment I told that lie, but there was absolutely no freaking need. Like I said, when I moved to Stevenage, there wasn't a lot of black people, but the black people that were there, we were all like knew each other, we were all friends. Most of us were Nigerian, we all went to the same church. So I grew up with like a family that were basically like my family. Like we literally used to go to each other's houses. They were around my age, like literally 1 or 2 years, like either the same age as me, or 1 or 2 years younger or older than me. Yeah, we used to obviously like go to the same church. We used to have the same, you know, culture. So like when I wasn't at school, I still had people around me that were like Nigerian apart from my family. So I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted to be white, if that makes sense. My identity was definitely Nigerian and the people around me definitely helped that. In my head, being the only black person was cool to me. I really enjoyed being a minority. So like, for example, when it came to like sports, this might sound really ignorant, but in my head, like at the time, I thought because I'm black, I've really won. Like, I don't even need to try. What? 100 meter, I've won. I don't even need to step on the field, I've won. Like, I just had this thing that like, I was a lot more powerful because I was black. Honestly, I'm not even like trying to get like brag or anything. Like when it came to athletics, when it came to like long jump, 100 meter, relay, Ropo was always like, I was always the fourth runner 100 meter because I was winning that. Even if like, say for example, the third leg is really, really slow and like third leg is even in front of me, I will run and beat them and it felt so good. Yeah, I had this like thing that like, I just really enjoyed being black. I enjoyed like them asking me stupid questions sometimes. Like, and do you know what's so funny? I think it took me till like secondary school to know the difference between Caribbean and African. Like I genuinely didn't know. Like I just thought like every black person was African. So when I went to secondary school, there were some Jamaican people, there were some Antiguan people, there were some Trinidadian people. And I think there was one time, this girl, obviously like we were like year 10, year 11, this is where like people started smoking and having sex and doing all this crazy stuff. Not me or not me, okay? This girl must have come up to me, she was like, oh, there was some weed. Either she asked me for weed or asked me if I eat rice and peas. And I was just like, pardon? She was like, just a weed. I was thinking, what's that? And even like when she asked me, oh, do you eat rice and peas? I literally did not know what that was. I didn't know what rice and peas was until like year 10. So yeah, it took a while for me to differentiate like different kinds of black people because I was so used to just Nigerian people. Like, because everyone around me, like I said, my church, people in school were Nigerian. So when I went to secondary school is when I really met like different types of black people. The thing with me, because I'm from a place where there weren't a lot of black people, whenever I meet a black person, I try my hardest to like bond with that person because it's like, oh, you black too? Like, it's literally just like that. And I really, for example, like my neighbor, when I found out she was black, heaven on earth, because I just love mixing with other black people. That's not to say I don't hang around with white people, I do, but I just feel more free and more myself when I'm around my people. And obviously the longer I was in Stevenage, the more the black community grew to the point where we had a Redeemed church. I think I changed church because when I first moved to Stevenage, we used to go to a white church, but I still really loved that church. It was still very fun and like, but I think we changed to a Redeemed church when I was like, maybe like 13 or something. I'm laughing because we had a phase where we went to Celestial Church, but let's not even talk about that. I went to Redeemed Church when I was like 13 and then I met more black people in Stevenage. Yeah, growing up in Stevenage was actually really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. Anyone from Stevenage can probably attest to that. I might not have the same experience as everyone else, but I genuinely enjoyed Stevenage. It was really fun. And I think it's such a great place to like raise children, to be honest, because the crime rates are not really that high. I definitely feel really, really safe in Stevenage. I don't feel any type of way in Stevenage. Maybe because I've grown up there and I know like it's such a small community that I pretty much, I wouldn't say I know everyone, but we all kind of know each other in some type of way. If it's not from school, it's from church. If it's not from church, it's from like youth club. If it's not from, do you get what I mean? So, but yeah guys, I'm done with my makeup. This is what we're looking like. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly do my hair and come back to close the video. Okay guys, so I just finished doing my hair. I just styled it into this cute little half up, half down vibe. I absolutely love my braids. If you're looking for a braider in the UK in London, this hair was done by a Rio hair. Sorry, I was looking at myself for a second. This hair was done by a Rio hair. I'll put her Instagram down below so you can have a look. Whilst I was doing my hair, I just remembered, I forgot to mention that I went to St. Leo's primary school in Ccgrwm in Lagos, Nigeria. And I actually found out that, you know Fowles the bad guy? I found out that he actually went to that school as well. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, I was just like thinking of like other like primary school memories. I barely remember much from Nigeria, but I remember like a few things. But if you grew up in Nigeria as well, you might remember these things. I remember like having assembly in like the field, and like we'll march from our classes to the assembly, and we used to have like this drum beat that we'll march to. I really want to do the drum beat, but I don't know if like people will be able to relate. But like we have the drum beat that we'll march to, and like you'll sing your school song. I can't remember like my school song if we had one. Maybe I'm just making that up, but I think we had something like that. And then you march, and then you like stand in the middle of the field or whatever, and then they raise the flag. You sing the national anthem, I think, if I can remember correctly. But yeah, I remember like the beat of the song. I really want to do it, but I'll get out with it. It goes like this. It goes. Yeah, if you grew up in Nigeria or Africa, you would know that beat. Anyway guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I love sharing my little memories with you guys. Hopefully some of you guys can relate, and if you have your Freshie stories or any like memories from growing up here or in Nigeria, or like coming over here and things like that, or even in America, definitely leave them down below. Let's all laugh at each other. We've grown. This is what growth is all about. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.